Welcome back to CBS Sports HQ. It is time for championship rankings presented by Panasonic. Together, we can be champions for the earth. The favorite to win it all, to win the NCAA tourney, Houston, is in action today. The Cougars taking on East Carolina in the American Athletic Conference quarterfinals. Now, it's the 9 seed versus the top seed. The Cougars ending the regular season red hot, winning 11 straight games. Now, the winner of Houston and East Carolina in this matchup moves on to play either number 4 Cincinnati or 5 Temple on Saturday in the semis. Marcus Sasser and his squad are heavy favorites in this matchup. According to Caesars, they are favored at -23. And getting a look at those odds to win the title, according to our partners over at Caesars, Houston there with the shortest odds at +600. UCLA, Arizona, Kansas, and Alabama rounding out the top 5.
Bracketology constantly being updated by Jerry Palm. Friday morning's last 4 in, currently occupied by Utah State, Nevada, Rutgers, and Mississippi State. Nevada, the only team here not still playing. First 4 out has Arizona State, Oklahoma State, North Carolina, and Clemson. The Tigers and Sun Devils trying to stay alive on Friday. For more on the last 4 in and first 4 out, let's now welcome in bracketologist Jerry Palm and college basketball writer Matt Norlander. Jerry, let's start with the last 4 in for Friday morning. Mississippi State, Utah State, Nevada, and Rutgers. Who's in the most precarious position among these 4 at this point?
Well, it's definitely Nevada because they're not playing. They're done. And they really ended the season poorly. Not that ending the season poorly is a specific thing the committee cares about, but they did a lot of damage to their resume with 2 bad losses, and really the third loss wasn't that great either. So, but 2 quad 3 losses right at the end of the regular season when they didn't have any before, which was really the main thing that separated them from Boise State and Utah State within their own league. And now it's going to be a very nervous selection Sunday for Nevada, no matter what happens around them.
All right, so Matt, Nevada seems to be the pick. I mean, in the most precarious position at this point. Do you agree with that, or do you think one of these other teams is perhaps in a little bit more of a precarious position at this point?
Nevada feels like it. I'm still fascinated by Rutgers at the moment because it has such drastic measurements in the 6 team sheet metrics across the board. Now, what matters most, as Jerry often says, is who you beat, where you beat them, and the actual details on the resume. But I mean, Rutgers right now, it's got the 4 quad 3 losses, and it should probably have enough. But if it gets run out of the gym by Purdue, I just wonder. It's 56th in strength of record. That's a resume-based metric that doesn't reflect well. The predictives love it, but I don't know. There are so many fascinating different teams on this bubble. There's something about Rutgers that I just can't quite shake. But having said that, I'm willing to admit that I could wind up being wrong. And Rutgers, we'll look up in Rutgers is more than safe on Selection Sunday. But if I'm Rutgers, I would avoid getting blown out by Purdue. I would show some hesitation if that wound up being the case.
Utah State and Nevada, you see the tournament resume comparisons there as they sit on the bubble. To your point, Matt, some fascinating bubble teams at this point. In terms of first 4 out, Arizona State is alongside Oklahoma State, North Carolina, and Clemson. What would a win over Arizona in the Pac-12 semifinals do for the Sun Devils at this point, Jerry?
Well, it would be huge. First of all, it'd be 2 wins out of 3 against Arizona, which is, that's a team that's going to be highly seeded in this bracket, even if they lose today. Arizona is. So that's some high-quality wins, both of those wins away from home, which is another thing the committee cares about. And Arizona's resume certainly has some flaws. So if they can get 2 wins against Arizona, it might be the kind of thing that pushes them up the bracket, possibly past Rutgers and maybe even Nevada, and knock Rutgers out if they were to lose to Purdue today.
Jerry, we are in agreement. I'm the handshake emoji right now. That's the exact thing that I think would happen. If Arizona State beat Arizona, it's obviously in without any doubt. And then, a team like Rutgers clearly gets nudged down unless Rutgers beats Purdue. And we'll see about that. Rutgers has defeated Purdue, but Arizona State needed a 60-foot heave, a miracle at the buzzer to beat Arizona at Arizona, but they beat them. They got the win. We'll see if they can do it again here today. Arizona, the reason why I keep an eye on that game is Arizona has shown a lot of variance. It's taken some weird double-digit losses to non-tournament teams, and we don't know if Arizona State is a tournament team or not, but the Wildcats have been vulnerable, and they pulled away from Stanford, but I think an upset is very much on the table in Las Vegas in that matchup tonight.
And as you guys mentioned, I mean, they split their season series, 2 hotly contested games. This one is going to be intense. Jerry, Virginia may have put an end to North Carolina's consecutive NCAA tournament run. Friday, they face Clemson, and the Tigers, it seems like they need to win to avoid the same fate here.
Yeah, I think Clemson might have to win the ACC tournament. Their resume is just really soft. They've got some nice wins. They've done well in quad 1, but the problem is their schedule isn't even in the top 100, and that's a problem because most of their wins, most of their games are quad 3 and 4. They also have 4 losses in that group, 2 quad 3 and 2 quad 4. And when you don't have a lot of, better opponents on your schedule to try and make up for that, it's pretty difficult for Clemson to make a strong case, even though they've done well in quad 1 and 2, reasonably well. But their schedule is a real problem, and it's going to be hard for the committee to overlook the fact that their schedule is so heavy in quad 3 and 4 and has 4 losses among that group of teams.
Yeah, those losses, they weigh so heavy, Jerry. And if Clemson were to win, I think you would be able to build out a case to have them in the bracket. But if it got left out, it wouldn't surprise me if it didn't win another game because of those losses. Now it's the quad 1 record is going to be respectable. So I actually think that Clemson will be the kind of resume, if it doesn't win the auto bid, obviously, it will be the kind of resume that is hotly debated because there are just so many contradictory data points within the resume. And it is in my opinion, you can make Clemson the eye of the beholder, prime example of any team on the bubble in this cycle. I think it has almost no case to be in the field if it doesn't win on Friday. If it does win, I actually think you can establish a pro and con argument for both. But you heard Jerry, it may well take 2 more and to shut the door and leave no doubt. I would suspect that if it made the title game, my guess is if it makes the title game, it would get in. But that is a guess because I think it's one of the hardest resumes to forecast.
I love the description, too. Contradictory data points on their resume. We mentioned North Carolina. They are first 4 out and watching what unfolds alongside Oklahoma State, who also have no games left. What is the best case scenario for both there, Jerry?
For North Carolina, there isn't a best case scenario. They really need to beat Virginia. They've got 2 wins over teams that are likely to make the NCAA tournament. They're both at home. There just isn't anything here to recommend North Carolina for the NCAA tournament. Oklahoma State, I just don't think their record is good enough. They're 3 games above 500. They're 2 games below 500 against the top 3 quadrants, and they have a quad 3 loss and 2 quad 2 losses, which, in the Big 12, I mean, if you're getting punished in the league and you've got all these quad 1 games and the 1 or 2 and maybe in quad 2, well, that's to be understood. But the quad 3 loss to Southern Illinois might be one too many. Had they flipped that game, now they're talking about a better record and no bad losses, and they're probably in the same boat as perhaps West Virginia in the bracket, but maybe not as high up as them.
I agree. That 1 loss, if it didn't happen, Oklahoma State's in, and there's no debate about it. Right now, 15 losses would tie the all-time record. And I agree with Jerry. It's the record. And now the conference it plays in is a factor. There had been more stunning inclusions over the years than if Oklahoma State snuck into the bracket and got sent to Dayton. But 3 games above 500. And there's still teams out there, bid thief possibilities. I just feel like the Pokes are destined to be a 1 seed in the NIT.
College basketball writer Matt Norlander, bracketologist Jerry Palm, on top of everything that is going on this week and not getting a lot of sleep. Great stuff as always, gentlemen. As we trim that countdown to Selection Sunday, just a reminder, we are your home for the big reveal. The Selection Show coming your way Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. If you're on the go, fret not. You can stream on Paramount+.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.